because of me being a director for so long and things, and the work ethic that you have when you go to some companies and different suppliers and other things that you come across in industries, you're not dealing with people that are as dedicated because it's not their business or anything. So they don't care whether they get back to your responses. Since I've been about 20, 21, my phone has never been turned off. Somebody could get hold of me anytime. And it's one of my biggest bugbears that if I ring somebody and they don't pick up, they might be busy. But they've seen that they've had a missed call from me. And if they haven't called me back within 3 or 4 hours, they're now ignoring me.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Director First podcast. Today we're having another chat with a recent client of ours. Just understand, obviously, what happened, what the liquidation was like, and more importantly, how's he doing now? James, thank you very, very much for agreeing to come on this with us, pal.
You're welcome.
So, James, can you just briefly give us a bit of an introduction? Just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about the company beforehand, mate, and what you was doing.
Yeah. So my original company set up in 2011, which was my first company out on my own. It's always been something relatively small. It's done lots of different things. It's changed products over the years and moved with the times. And then around about 6 years ago, we moved into a carpentry field. I'm a carpenter by trade. And we went back into that side of things, but we found a little bit of a niche market of just doing doors. And the company just exploded really overnight. We had this situation of COVID kicked in, which set a little bit of turmoil in everything, but we didn't know whether we was going to survive through that. But as it goes, people just started spending money on their house rather than going on holidays, and the business just took off and went absolutely mad. So from it just being me, within a couple of years, I'd got a team of 10 lads out there, a fleet of vans. Turnover had gone absolutely crazy. Work takes over your life. And all was going well, as to what I thought anyway.
Yeah. And just on that, mate, obviously, that when you first realised that you might need to go into some form of liquidation, how was you feeling at the time?
I think initially there was a lot of time where you're in denial, because of it being it's your baby, effectively. It's your business that you've built up from nothing, and it has taken over your life, and you've watched it grow, and you've seen how well it has worked. And you go through a period where things are tight, but you're always in this delusion that, we'll get it back, we've been here before, or we'll get it back to how it was. You then start having the responsibilities because we've got staff on. It's like, well, now I'm letting them down. They've got families that they need to support. So you start, rather than thinking this is what I need to do for the business, you start thinking about other people, and you start funding their lives through your own pocket, and trying to keep your business going. So you're in that denial stage for a bit. And then I think it was always in the back of my mind, probably for about the last year, that I've got to look at liquidating. But you try to make changes. You make this tough decision of that some staff have got to go. I'll change this, I'll change that, I'll turn it around. And then I was starting to do the odd Google search late at night when things are just going mad in your head as to I can't get like this. You do the odd Google search as to how does liquidation work, how's it going to affect you. I come across some videos on YouTube from Director First. I watched a few then. It then goes in the back of your mind for a few more months. You try to salvage it again, and you start feeling like a complete failure because of everything that you've done in the past and how well it's done, and you're going to let everybody else down. But it gets to a point where I start watching more and more of the videos, and it was like, this is the only option that I've got left, because I'm trying to support everybody else here. I'm making myself bankrupt. I'm going to lose my house. I'm going to lose everything. I was selling my own things to put money into the business to salvage things. And you look back and it's like, hold on, I've worked all these years and I've now got nothing to show for it. I've taken loans out in my personal name. I've sold my car. I've sold motorhomes. Everything that I've worked for and built has gone. And I've still got a business that is treading water with a mound of debt that I just can't pay back. And after watching loads of different videos, doing loads of research, it was a matter of I've got to take the plunge now as to do something and make the first contact.
Do you know what we noticed as well is a lot of people that we speak to, they've actually been following us for a while. And again, that's Chris's algorithms as well, because once you watch one of his YouTube channels or one of his Facebook clips or TikTok or whatever, you'll just start seeing Chris's face pop up quite a lot, don't you?
You do.
And he's there. Yeah.
You do, but I think there is still that, although you've watched the first clip, there's still something in the back of your mind, because it has controlled your life for so much, your business, and you don't want it to fail. It's like, no, I'm going to find a way out of this. And in reality, I'm still from that old school way as to when people talk about liquidation or bankruptcy, it's really frowned upon. And it's like, well, then you start doing the research and it's like, well, no, loads of people do this. This is what it's there for. Circumstances have changed in the industry and we can't survive anymore. And it's just changing that mindset and then realizing, well, what am I going to do afterwards? What is there for me?
What's the next step? I mean, what was your, do you know, just to go back to that initial start of, I'm gonna have to do something here and take some advice. What was your biggest fear? What were you worried about the most at the time?
I think probably the biggest thing was still that feeling of letting everybody else down, because I'd got staff and their commitments, and you obviously, we were still a relatively small company, so I still spoke to the staff every day. They called me. I treated them as family. And then even my own family, you're going back and it's really strange. Like when you go home at night and you've tried, you don't particularly want to go home at night some nights because you're just trying to wrap your head around it. But the little things, like your wife turns around to you and says, "Oh, should we go out here tonight, or should we book a holiday?" And in the back of your head, it's like, I can't afford it. I physically don't have the money. I can't take wages this week. I can't take any money. I'm putting money back into the business. You don't want to tell anybody any of that situation. And I think that's the bit that really plays on your mind, as to you're letting everybody down once this happens, and you've got to have them difficult conversations with everybody as to, I'm sorry, but the business is finished. It's I can't employ you anymore. I can't do this, and
you put, and a lot of directors will resonate with what you just said there, mate. You put yourself last automatically, don't you? You do, whether that's your personal situation, family, personal mental health as well. That takes a big toll on things, doesn't it? And you just seem to park yourself right at the back, and you just deal with everything else first. You know, you deal with the company, the staff. You know what? Whenever we speak to directors, James, it was saying when we've spoken to you is how are you doing? Let's bring you back up to the forefront of this as well, because you're going through it as much as the business is. It's yourself that's going through it as well, isn't it?
It is, but you don't. You try to, or I do. You try to think as to, well, I'm the one that started this, so it's my responsibility. And in reality, when you look back at it and in hindsight, you know, well, the lads, I don't owe them anything. If they got offered a better position, they would have gone and took another job. But that whole thinking as to, I've got to have this conversation, and then it starts playing in your mind as to what's going to happen in their life and their conversations. So they're going to go home to their wives and tell them, I've just lost my job today. And then they're going to be sat around their table as to, well, we can't afford to pay the mortgage. And that's all me. Well, I've caused that. And how can you do that to people? So, yeah, you take on all that responsibility, and you will try anything to make their lives better. But at the same time, you're just destroying your own.
When you obviously decided, right, this is the route, what were the steps that you took to get you to, once you decided liquidation was the route, what are the steps that you thought, right, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, this is who I'm going to speak to?
I think, well, I'd started watching more videos and reading up a bit more on stuff. I'd gone on to your page a couple of times and actually clicked the contact us section, and then you sat in front of your computer going, nah, and you just close it down. I think I've done that 3 or 4 times. I'd filled out all the information and you never click send. You close it back down. No, I'll deal with it another day. You're burying your head in the sand as to, I'll sort it out. I'll turn it around this week. I don't know how you're going to turn around 2 years worth of debts in the space of a week, but in your head at that moment, it's like, yeah, I'll turn it around this week. And then eventually I was just sat at my desk. I think I'd got to a stage where that particular week I'd had a couple of jobs just cancel last minute. And I was at the stage as to, hold on now, I've already bought all the stock. Suppliers are chasing me for their money. I've got to pay these lads' wages, and I haven't even got the money coming in this week. These customers have just cancelled on me last minute. And I was just sat at the computer, and I'd literally just click send that one time. I eventually just filled out all the information, and I clicked submit. And then it was Chris that called me back within a matter of minutes. And it was just a chat. When he first rang, it was, how you doing? Tell me a bit about yourself. What's the situation? There was no expectations to, right, this is what we're going to do for you. It was like, just tell me about you. And I just laid everything out. And he goes, well, here's what we'll do. I'll send you an email and I'll check up on you in a couple of days. And he did. And it kind of just naturally flowed. It was like, this is nobody's there telling me I've got to do this or I've got to do that, or this is the way that the process works. It was just having a chat with me and then telling me, yeah, you're not alone. This is, everything will be fine. There's ways around this. And as he went through it and then sent me the emails, it just made more sense at that point. It was like, I don't know why I was delaying. This just seemed right. So, yeah.
Chris Taylor will be very happy you mentioned him on this, by the way, James. He'd be really happy that you've name dropped him there, mate. And obviously, you found us through which social media? How was it? Was it YouTube, Facebook, TikTok?
I think it was YouTube. I think when I click on, when I started searching, and then obviously at the top of Google, some videos pop up, and I think one of your videos tipped up. And I'm not really one of these that you see usually all these videos that are 2 or 3 minutes long. They're just adverts for companies. And I think I clocked one that it might have been about a half-hour video, something about the whole process of going through liquidation or the needs to know before going in liquidation. I think that was the video.
Yeah.
It was like a half-hour video. And I just sat and watched that whole one where he explained all the different types, the process of going through them all, how it all works. And yeah, from there, I then obviously probably watched 4 or 5 other ones on different days and stuff like that. But I just noticed it wasn't an adverty type.
Yeah.
Going to be somebody sat there going through the process.
That's what a lot of people need, isn't it? Just a bit of a guidance, isn't it? Clarity of what you can do, what you can't do.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, isn't it, for directors? Because at the time, you probably didn't know where to turn or what you could do and what you couldn't do.
No, and it's like liquidation. It's not something you have a plan for either, is it? So it's not something that when you set up a business, and what I did years ago, nobody ever talks you through. This is what happens if it doesn't work, because your whole mindset is this is my future, this is my business. So you get your letters from Companies House of what things that you need to do, and you go and speak to an accountant. And they're dealing with you all the time, and you've got your business ideas and your business models, but you never research as to how to close down a business. I'd never done anything like this before. I didn't know anybody that had ever been through this before. Like I say, I was from my parents and that generation that brought me up. They're in their 70s and 80s, and you don't have debt. And no, you don't go bankrupt. You pay everybody that you owe. That's the culture that I'm from. And it wasn't until I think it was the real big shocker was when my end of year accounts was due. I knew the year before my accountant had brought to my attention saying you'd lost money. I was like, well, I know I'd lost money. I knew that the business wasn't doing particularly well. As to where before we'd had huge profits and so on and the growth. But it wasn't until I was looking at the accounts, I was like, my company loan now to the company is close to £250,000. And I was like, that's my money that I've pumped back into the business. I haven't got anything left. That's my pension. That's all my savings have gone that I've lost in a couple of years. And that's the point is this can't go on. I can't do it anymore.
What made you, after obviously speaking with Chris Teal, watching all the videos, having numerous conversations or emails, what made you decide to work with us?
I think it was from that initial contact when the first phone call back to me. It wasn't that a salesy type of contact. It wasn't somebody saying, "You come to us. This is what we do, and this is why we're better than you." It was literally just a phone call saying, "You've sent us an inquiry. You're in a little bit of trouble. Tell me about your situation." And it was honestly just a friendly chat about somebody saying, "I know what you're going through. I know what you're doing. I've heard it. These are your options. Whether you come with us or whether you go somewhere else, this is what the options are." And then they sent everything over in an email. There was still no insinuation as to you've got to come with us or this is what we can do better than others. It was literally, here's information. It's free information to you. Use it as you want. And it was just nice that somebody wasn't trying to actually get anything out of you. I mean, obviously, yes, I'll went through you guys in the end, but it was because of that process as to you working in business to business, and everybody that you speak to, they're always just after your business. It didn't feel like that. This was somebody that was just basically giving us free information. And it was there. If you need anything, give us a call. We're here for you. And that was it.
It's exactly that, our business model. That. So we will get hundreds of inquiries throughout the week, and a lot of these inquiries, people are geared up to calling us up to going, how much is this going to cost? And in the end, we turn around and say, you don't liquidate, you don't need to.
Yeah.
It just be a restructure. Whether there's no debts, they just need to close the company down and there's nothing to it, and they dissolve it. What we'll do is we'll always give a ton of free advice, and it's advice tailored to you as a director. It's to go, because not every case isn't the same. It's not one size fits all, is it? It's all different and it's all personal. But we always like to make sure that a director is fully aware that they're under no obligation to use us. We'll do a lot of work beforehand to get to the director to a stage of understanding what's going to happen in liquidation. The whole process of it from start to finish. More importantly, costings as well. And then at the end, we'll be yourself. We'll send a full written proposal out to you guys, so at least you have it in black and white. What happens, and more importantly, the cost of it before you agree to anything. We found, especially with some directors that I've spoken to this week, they've been asked to agree to something that they don't know what they're agreeing to.
Well, you do, and it's how you get used to lots of other companies, just anything, when you're dealing with these HR companies or anybody that tries to call you in the past. They're trying to get you to basically sign up before everything's explained, but they want a commitment off of you. So you get used to that. You guard up straight away.
Of course, yeah.
Because that's how all businesses are usually contacting you for some reason.
So the process of liquidation, in your view, how did you find the process? Can you walk us through a little bit of it?
It was incredibly easy, to be honest. There was once I'd actually made my mind up and decided, yes, this is it, and I'd said to you guys, yeah, this is what we're doing then. There is that little bit of panic as to, this is going to be a nightmare. It's going to go on for absolutely ever. And just the paperwork or having creditors meetings, or you don't know what's going on. But I think you sent over your proposal, which I filled out all the questions and sent back. There was a couple of forms that emailed backwards and forwards. 2 or 3 emails and it was relatively standard stuff. I mean, I know when I was speaking, I'm not sure whether it was you, Shaun, or somebody else I spoke to, was saying, it depends on how long you take us to get this information to us. Some people take a week, some people take longer. The information was at my fingertips. I was sending it back within a matter of minutes. I thought, what's taking? Initially, you're thinking, what are they digging into? Well, I can't go back years. The stuff that I was looking for was, it's there. It's a click a button away. I'd sent everything back pretty much within about an hour of you asking for it.
You wasn't a quick turnaround, yeah.
And it was like, that's all we need. It's done. And then it went off to the receivers, and it's like, this is the next process. Like, do you need anything from me? No, we've got everything that we need. But I sat here for a little bit thinking, surely this isn't it. There's going to be more to it, but no, it was forms was back. It was done and dusted.
And looking back as well, what did you find the most helpful or reassuring from us?
I think the odd random phone calls that you just when there wasn't a phone call needed or anything scheduled in, I think was quite nice. I think there was 1 or 2 times I sent an email back, and instead of getting an email response, I think you actually called me and just said, I'm dealing with it, blah blah blah. You was on it within minutes. There was none of this sending emails backwards and forwards and so, I'm going to wait a day now for a response, or you even saying, if you ever need anything, just give me a call.
Yeah.
I could drop you a message on WhatsApp or email, and within 2 or 3 minutes, I'd got a response from you. That goes a long way with me. I've never been the type of person that likes to send an email and so I'm waiting for a response now. But because things start going on in your head as well.
Of course it is.
Because in mine, it's like, well, I'm still waiting. It's this is doing my head in now. It's why have they not come back to me? I hate stuff like that. So when when I send an inquiry and I'm getting a response within 2 or 3 minutes, so yeah, somebody's on this. Somebody's actually wanting to help me. That goes a long way.
WhatsApp's brilliant, especially every time I speak to somebody, I always say to them, "You on WhatsApp? Let me WhatsApp you."
Yeah.
And I say to them, you can WhatsApp me day or night. I've got a newborn at home now. She's 4 weeks old. Millie.
Congratulations.
And I even say to people, "Thank you. I'm a bit tired," but I even say to people like, "You want to speak to me at 2 o'clock in the morning? Because there's no doubt that you're awake as well. We're worried. Just WhatsApp me because I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm doing a night feed or 6. I'm always on the phone to people. And you said it there that if you've got a worry, that needs to be sorted straight away. That needs answered. Because like you said, then if it's inside your head will just go round and round.
Well, I think it helps with the situation because of me being a director for so long and things, and the work ethic that you have. When you go to some companies and different suppliers and other things that you come across in industries, you're not dealing with people that are as dedicated because it's not their business or anything. So they don't care whether they get back to your responses. Since I've been about 21, my phone has never been turned off. Somebody could get hold of me anytime. And it's one of my biggest bugbears that if I ring somebody and they don't pick up, they might be busy. But they've seen that they've had a missed call from me. And if they haven't called me back within 3 or 4 hours, they're now ignoring me. Because there is no, my staff that worked for me in the past, there is no way they've not seen that I've called, and they've chose not to call me back. I didn't ring them just for a chat. I rang them for something. So call me. And the same as if anybody rings me, if I'm on another call or if I'm busy and I miss that call, as soon as I'm free, I call them back. That's how I work. So to have somebody else and to find another company or somebody that understands that or just has the same work ethic as you is to, I want an answer. Get in contact with me.
Yeah.
In this modern day, it's rare to find.
Would you have done anything differently looking back?
With the business?
Yeah. Business, liquidation.
Yeah, I think it's been a huge learning curve. Not the nicest of learning curves, but it's been a huge one. The idea of that you do have to be a little bit more selfish with you looking after a business, and when you see all the multimillionaires and all of that, and it's like, well, they're not very nice people. You understand why they're not very nice people, because they have to be like that for their business to survive. Yes, I've always wanted my business to be friendly and a nice place to work, but at the same time, somebody did tell me since going through this, and I was having a chat, somebody turned around and says, whatever you do in the future, you always make sure you get paid first. You make sure that your business can pay you first. If it can't pay you, then it can't afford to pay anybody else, and you can't have staff, and you need to make that decision. And I think that was my biggest downfall, that I'd taken on all of this stuff, and all of a sudden their whole families became my family, and that was my biggest burden. I'd got a wage bill that I had to meet, whether money was coming into the business or not. I had to meet that wage bill. And in reality, instead of letting it go for months and months of me paying their wages out of my personal pocket, it should have been, no, the business can't afford to do it. It's sorry, I've got to let you go, and make the changes in the business a lot quicker.
Yeah. And if you was to give advice to other business owners that are, you know, facing similar situations to what you was, what would be the advice you'd give them?
I would say get in contact with somebody like yourself to at least get the advice, because whether you can salvage it, and there are other ways around it. And I do know that there's obviously you can come up with plans with creditors and things like that. But at least get some outside advice. When you're a director like I'm, and it's just me, you're in your own little bubble, so you don't have advice from anybody else. You don't have anybody to bounce ideas off, or somebody even simple enough to turn around and say, I've got a business where there is 4 directors as well I'm a part of, but we sit down and bounce ideas off each other, and we'll often turn around and go, that's a stupid idea, that's not going to work, this might work, let's try that. When you're on your own, you haven't got that, so you get this one idea in your head and you think that'll work. And you might be going down a completely wrong path, where all it takes is one person to go, why don't you do it this way? And then you realize, yeah, that makes sense. But you didn't, and it's too late. So get in contact with somebody, even if it's just to bounce ideas off you.
Yeah, and outside of looking in, can give so much good, you know, valuable advice. Just give you a different way of looking at stuff, different perspective of stuff, isn't it? So
yeah.
Now it's all done for you. Obviously, you're through the process now of liquidation. How are you feeling?
Oh, it's a massive weight off your shoulder.
Yeah.
I think up until a couple of weeks ago, you still had that little bit of pressure and anxiety going on. We've got to a point as to where we caught it just in time where some of the creditors was really starting to chase us, and even when we was telling them, look, we're going through this process, they wasn't interested. They was just chasing me like mad. And it was like, right, the CCJs are coming, and they're still ringing me, emailing me on a daily basis, and they wouldn't be willing to listen that the process was going on. The day that they said, that they told me it's now officially in liquidation, and I saw on Company's House that the address had changed on Company's House.
Yeah.
It was like that. They're not going to be knocking at my door anymore. That's it. Anybody now, when they want to check up on Company's House, it's not me. Somebody else that is by far more qualified dealing with this stuff is responsible for the business, and they can deal with it. And that's that massive weight off your shoulder.
And obviously now moving forward, what's the plans, both like business-wise and yourself personally? What are the plans now?
Well, we've still got, because of the restructure that we did, so we do still have, I do still have a business. It's very different to what it was 3 or 4 years ago. It's in the same sort of industry, but it's a very, very different business model. And just the whole idea of the way that I look at going forward as to how I'm going to do business, it's been such a massive learning curve. It's the things to look out for and the things not to do, what to do. That's the biggest thing. So I'm hopeful. Everything seems to be going well at the minute. It's early days. It's a fresh start. It's all very strange again, because it's all of a sudden you're a new business, which I've not had to deal with for a long time. It's but yeah, it's all exciting again. You get that drive and excitement back for going to work.
new lease of life. I always say to people,
Yes.
new lease of life for us.
Yeah, you get excited about getting up in the morning. It's like, well, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do that today. I'm going into work. I'm going to go to work early. You don't care about going to work late because you can see that something is growing, and you're building something again.
You get excited, don't you?
You do.
Back for doing it. Is there anything else that you want to share about your experience working with us, or?
I think I've covered most things. I must admit, it's from watching the very first video, and obviously I did look around at other people and stuff, but I think you guys have actually got it spot on. Your whole ideas about how you do things, your videos, they're so informative. They're not boring like some are. They're not salesy like some are.
Yeah.
They're just somebody stood in front of a camera saying, "This is what's the truth. This is what happens." And yeah, and just the way that you communicate, it's been absolutely brilliant. So I can't thank you enough.
It's our pleasure. It really is, man. I'm glad you're through it. I told you you get through it.
There was days I doubted it.
There was, yeah, no, there definitely was, and that's normal. You know, everybody's the same, and like you say, you just need time. And a lot of directors are out there now. They may be watching this, and it's like, if your business is struggling, pick the phone up, speak to us. You know, we're a friendly bunch. We'll speak to anybody. And we'll always give you advice that's tailored for yourself, rather than this. You know, do this. Ours is just always, we'll listen to you, we'll listen to the whole story, warts and all, and then we'll give you an outcome, give you an idea of what you can and can't do. And well, James, thank you so much for jumping on this, mate. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
No problem at all.
And I wish you all the best in the future. Okay, my friend.
Okay, thank you very much.